Welcome to the Manifestation Babe podcast. My name is Catherine Zinkina, and I'm a manifestation expert, master mindset coach, and multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you're looking to massively up-level your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and success, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is to help you see the infinite potential within yourself to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of mindset development to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me to provide you with the tools, the resources, the strategies, and teachings that you need to manifest a reality wilder than your wildest dreams. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today, and now let's begin. Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Manifestation Babe podcast. So there was lots of great feedback on this series that I started with the last episode, talking all about bullshit money beliefs that we gotta bust through, okay? So I'm bringing you part 2. Woo! All right, so 2 more beliefs that I'm going to bust through in this episode. And then, of course, there will be part 3 and probably part 4 as well. So stay tuned. But before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to both announce, if you're hearing it for the first time, or remind you, if you're not hearing it for the first time, that I am officially opening up enrollment into my university. Yes, I'm calling it a university of money manifestation that I call the Rich Babe Academy next week on August 31st. You guys, I'm so excited because the Rich Babe Academy is the place to be where you are going to discover so much of your own blueprint of money, because that's what we're talking about in these episodes are beliefs that come from the blueprint that we have in the collective consciousness. That's why these are so common, is because a lot of us are operating from this blueprint. But it's one thing to talk about the collective, right? But it's an entirely different thing to talk about the individual blueprint that you have. So once you understand what your individual blueprint of money is, and you're able to identify what specifically has been holding you back so that you can rewire your entire nervous system with the truth, your entire life changes. Right? And by truth, what I'm speaking to here is the truth that you are a limitless spiritual being in human form that came here into the physical material plane called planet Earth, right? The 3D world, to experience all of the luxuries, all of the blessings, and all of the gifts of life. So that's what we're doing inside of RBA. This is actually going to be the only round of Rich Babe that I have offered this year. I've literally not opened it up at all this year. And as well as the very last round ever that I'm going to be offering. And I know there's tons of questions like, oh my God, Catherine, why? Why are you offering it for the last time ever? Well, for those of you who have been inside of Rich Babe Academy before, do not worry, you are getting upgraded. Rich Babe Academy is going to transition into something else. It's going to transition to something better. And for those of you who are joining this last round where we are laser focusing on this money blueprint, where we're laser focusing on the energetics of money, where you can laser focus on the financial part of your life that then extends into other parts of your life. You definitely want to get inside of this round, and you're also going to get upgraded as soon as I can announce what this big transition is. It's really exciting. I can't talk about it, so please don't ask me about it. All I'm going to say is if you've been on the waitlist for the Rich Babe Academy for many, 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 many years or many rounds, you know who you are. Definitely get into this last round, okay? And if you're hearing it for the first time, you are freaking in luck. Like, how good is your timing? How good is your timing that you are getting the opportunity to come inside of my best-selling, life-transforming money manifestation Again, I'm going to call it a university. So if you don't want to miss the enrollment for the Rich Babe Academy, get on the wait list right now by either following the link in the show notes. So I'm going to put the links in the show notes as always. You can just swipe up if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, that is, and or you can go to richbabeacademy.com. And if for whatever reason there's a tech issue, you can also go to manifestationbabe.com/richbabeacademy. Again, it's richbabeacademy.com or manifestationbabe.com/richbabeacademy if you're having any issues with the main link. All right, so let's get into some belief busting, shall we? So, there are obviously a lot of bullshit beliefs floating around about money with the purpose of discouraging you from pursuing success. Now, conspiracy or not, I personally believe that this is all done on purpose, okay? Because think about it. You playing small is you living far below your potential. And you living far below your potential is you in your least powerful form. And you in your least powerful form means that you can easily be put into any box that society wants you to fit into, right? Which becomes ultra convenient for those who truly are corrupted, who truly are greedy and have ill intentions for the world. Right? It becomes awfully convenient to be able to control you and put you into any box that has nothing to do with your potential when you are denying yourself of what you are capable of. If you're struggling without questioning why you're struggling, you get used to struggling, and then struggle becomes this part of life. I'm all about questioning everything, right? I've been such a questioner since a kid. Hang out with me for a day and you're going to be like, damn, that girl asked so many questions. Ask any of my friends. I really am surprised they're not sick of me yet because I'm like the world's most curious questioner. I'm like, why that? And why this? But why not that? And how come this? I mean, it's ridiculous. I love questioning money beliefs because over the past few years of just going on my own money journey, I've realized how much bullshit there is around money. So many of these beliefs, they exist and they don't do us any good, right? It would make sense for them to exist if they're doing good. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But they're not doing any good, right? So what good comes out of poverty? What good comes out of struggle? What good comes out of suffering, So many of our struggles originate in our minds, which we don't even realize that what's in our mind comes from the paradigm of society and culture. And this paradigm is definitely not the holy truth. It's a man-made construct. And the problem is that we treat it like it's God's truth. But what we have done is simply replaced, call it God, universe, source, whatever it is that you want to call it. We replace God's word with man or womankind's word, right? And which one is the true source of our money? They want you to think it's other people. And I keep telling you, money does not come from other people. It does not come from your boss. It doesn't come from your clients or customers. It does not even come from the government. Okay. In the 3D physical world, we see the government printing money, right? So we think that that's our source, but that's part of this limiting construct. That's just a 3D physical manifestation of its flow. It's just one of the bodies through which it flows, but it's not the source. Money doesn't come from people. It comes through other people. But it originates, the energy itself originates from God, universe, source, angels, whatever it is that you want to call it. And let me tell you, source isn't called source for nothing, right? So when you want to think about where your money comes from, what is the source? Just repeat the word source. So, first belief that I want to deconstruct today. And remember, I'm just deconstructing. And a lot of the work comes in this deconstruction of just questioning the belief. So some of the beliefs that I might be talking about, you're like, Catherine, I don't necessarily resonate, but I want you to just listen to how I do it and listen to how I talk through it, because this is a very important skill that I actually teach in my academies, which is the whole process of deconstruction. Like, how do you break down a belief that feels so true that you don't want to be true anymore? Because oftentimes we think that our beliefs are so true. We think that it's like everything, that there's no way around it, until we become creative enough and persistent enough to question it, because we know that this belief isn't serving us. And we have to find a belief that is serving us and build evidence for that new belief in order for us to rewire it, which I obviously go way deeper into inside of Rich Babe Academy. So the first belief that I want to deconstruct for you today is money corrupts. Does that one resonate? Have you heard that one? Does that one come from your childhood? Right? What comes up for you when you think money corrupts? Money is corrupted and therefore it corrupts. So I don't know if you've listened to the previous episode, and I think it wasn't the previous episode, it was the demonizing money episode that I recorded a couple episodes back. Do you remember how I gave the knife example? Remember how I said how money does not have a mind of its own, and it cannot. No matter how hard it tries, it cannot take any action by itself, right? Money doesn't have a brain. Money on its own, the body of money, needs to be guided by some other consciousness. So money can't take any action by itself, right? So I gave the example, to be more specific, of like a kitchen knife, for instance. So take a tool, another tool, because money is just a tool. But it's easy for us to, there's so much charge around money. So it's easier to then kind of pick another tool that has a parallel, right, to another tool. So think of a kitchen knife, for example. So saying that money corrupts is like saying the kitchen knife itself was responsible for the murder of a person. Now, I want you to think really, really hard. When you think of a court case for a murder, is the knife sitting there and testifying? Right? No, it's a person. It's people. Or the kitchen knife deserves all of the credit for the beautiful dinner that you spent 6 hours cooking over the weekend. When your kids or husband or wife or boyfriend, girlfriend or family, when they say, "Oh my God, thank you so much for this beautiful dinner," are they thanking you? Or are they thinking the knife, right? You, of course. Or is it the surgical knife, the one that saved the child's life in the emergency room when their appendix was about to burst and they had to get it out? Are they saying thank you, doctor, or are they saying thank you, knife, right? Was it the knife, AKA the tool, or was it the person behind the tool who took the action with the tool? Was it the intention with which the tool was used? Again, same tool, different purposes. Same thing with money, same tool, different purposes. So it's the exact same thing going on here. Is it the money that corrupts, or is it people that were already corrupted who happen to have money? Now, I know that I have this example show up many times in my life, and I'm sure it showed up for you too. I know you have probably witnessed an example of somebody who was a genuinely, kind person, or at least seemed to be a very kind, humble person who came across wealth or money super quickly, like for instance, winning the lottery or selling a successful business where they became like millionaires overnight. And then they quote unquote changed, right? You notice that they became more self-absorbed, or they became more obsessed with their belongings and what they had, or they became mean to people who have less, or they started to rub how much money they have in your face. And, they just don't interact with you in the same way anymore because they feel like they are better than you. I know that I've had this experience a couple times in my life. And initially we think that it's money that changed the person because, we know this version of a person. And then we see a different version of them. And the only thing that changed was that they became rich. But this is what we are taught. We're taught to blame money. Okay. Because again, in this scenario, what you did or what happened here is that person gained a tool. Now, can a tool really change the person, or can it only amplify what they are capable of doing based on who they already were? And what I mean by that is that the money just amplified the qualities that were always there. It's just that they weren't, on a high volume. They're probably on a lower volume and you just didn't notice, but they were always there. And when I started thinking about this, when I learned this principle that money is just an amplifier of who you already are, I started to take inventory more closely. And I realized that the people that I'm thinking of, they were already like that. If I thought very, very carefully, I could remember a few red flags that just became these huge, right? Huge red flags through the process of them gaining wealth. Money is an amplifier of who you already are. So what does that exactly mean? What does that look like? Well, if you're already someone who's corrupted, then money will corrupt you even more because guess what? You have a tool. Now you can show even more corruption, right? That corruption can be amplified. Or let's say if you're already greedy, you're already a greedy person because people assume that all rich people are greedy. No, it's just greedy people who are greedy, right? So if you're already a greedy person, you're already stuck in this paradigm of lack, then guess what? Even if you have more, you just have more to be greedy with. You just have more to feel lack with. And I know this sounds so paradoxical. Like, how can you feel lack when you have so much? Trust me, people do. They really freak out and they hoard, right? And if they're already greedy, then they just have more to be greedy with. And if you already feel like you're better than others, then guess what? Now you have more proof of it. Congratulations. It's an amplifier. You now have proof, actual proof, and more to rub into other people's faces. But if you're a giving person, guess what? You have more to give with. You have a tool that amplified your giving heart. And now, guess what? You just have more to give with. If you're a kind, loving person, you have more to be kind and loving with. You don't change. Money doesn't change you. You just get more amplified. This is why I keep saying, when good babes make good money, everybody benefits because more good gets spread into the world. The more money we can get in the hands of genuinely good people, genuinely good souls who would use that money, use that tool for good, the more good gets spread into the world. See what I mean? So the second belief that I want to talk about, that I want to deconstruct is the more I have, the more I have to lose now too. Does that one sound familiar? Does that one resonate? Are you afraid of manifesting more money because you're so afraid that you're going to basically be teased with it, where the universe is going to give it to you and then you're going to lose it? How many of you have sabotaged any effort of manifesting more money into your life simply because you're afraid that somehow you're going to quote unquote lose it all? And so you might as well not even put the effort in because guess what? Losing $5, no problem, right? It's all cool. We can all conceptualize finding another $5. So having $5 is okay because if I lose $5, I can easily make it back again. But losing $500,000, I mean, when you even think about it, it's like it probably sounds like an end of the world scenario for you. To spend all that time and energy, right? Because we still have that belief that it's going to take a lot of time and energy to manifest that money. And then God forbid we lose it. Oh my goodness. Like we might as well not ever give it another shot again. That's like so horrible. We paint such a dark picture about this. We have such a dark, negative internal representation that this is why we sabotage receiving more, is because we hold on to this fear of losing, fear of loss. And guess what? The subconscious mind never wants to lose anything, which is why if, for instance, and this is just a parallel, maybe you've been struggling to lose weight, try telling your mind that you are releasing weight. because your mind never wants to lose something. So if you're constantly convincing yourself that you have something to lose, you're never going to want to get it in the first place. So here's the thing that I realized that helped me let go of this fear. Where you currently are right now, you have a consciousness for. You already have a subconscious memory of experiencing it. So therefore, you can always come back to where you currently are because you already have a blueprint for it. So whatever money, amount of money that you're currently making, let me just give you an example. Like let's say you're already making $75,000 per year, for instance. You know deep in your consciousness that you have a blueprint for this money and you can always make that amount of money because that's your blueprint. It's forever ingrained in your mind. And again, by blueprint, I mean mental blueprint, I mean beliefs. So when you manifest at the 500K level, for instance, so let's say that you receive a huge promotion, right? Or start a business and now you're earning $500,000 a year from 75,000. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, which is, yeah, technically there is more to lose now. You first had $75,000 per year income, and now you have $500,000 a year. Of course, there's more money. Of course, there's more at stake. Of course, there's more to lose. But that is such a limited way of looking at it because you're forgetting about the energetic realm. What most people don't realize, and this is what gets them, is that money is energy. I've said it like 1,000,000,000,000 times. Money is energy. Money is energy. It is not something that just gets lost. Energy just doesn't get lost, right? You hear it all the time. Energy cannot be destroyed, okay? It's always there in the energetic realm. In fact, trillions of dollars or even zillions of dollars or bazillions of dollars or whatever amount you could possibly imagine. Humans have a hard time imagining infinite, so we have to label it and say bazillion. Bazillions of dollars are available to you in the energetic realm. And that money can always be drawn into the physical realm based on your mental blueprint, based on what you believe you can have, based on, whatever's in your blueprint is whatever you're capable of creating. And again, I just mean by blueprint, I mean beliefs, the consciousness behind your reality. So if you manifest 500K, guess what? What's so cool about this is it is proof that you officially have a blueprint for $500,000. So you forever have the wisdom behind how you got there on a subconscious level. You became an energetic match to it. And if it were possible once, it's possible again and again and again for you because you just cannot lose the consciousness behind this blueprint. You can only temporarily forget it until you bring it back into your awareness. That's why this is, it's so easy think of the people who, think of like millionaires who go bankrupt. And then all of a sudden, they somehow rebuild their millionaire status within just a few years. I'm sure you've seen this as an example, right? And it's not because they're lucky that it happened. They didn't just happen to stumble across the money twice, right? And then they go bankrupt again and manifest it again, right? Then it's not an issue with manifesting money. It's probably an issue or a belief system around holding on to money, which is a different story. But it's not luck, right? They didn't just, I got lucky for the third time. Here's another $1 million. It's no. It's because their blueprint was an energetic match to that money. That's, the way that they have built up a wealth consciousness allow them to re-manifest it like it's no problem, which is exactly what we focus on inside of Rich Babe Academy. It's building that energetic blueprint to be an energetic match to whatever amount of money you choose with zero fear of losing it. Because you can waste all your time and energy on this fear of losing it. And then guess what? You're going to manifest losing it, right? So there's no point to it. And guess what? Even if you did lose it, you would still have no fear because it would only be temporary. Because you now have the frequency that it took to get there. And you can always bring yourself back to that frequency. So there's literally nothing to fear, you guys. And again, this is just another very convenient belief to keep us way, 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 way below our highest potential, right? Why have more if we're going to lose it anyway? So those are my 2 beliefs that I'm bringing to you guys in part 2. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I have been getting incredible feedback for part 1, so I'm curious how part 2 was for you. Which beliefs spoke to you the most? Did this help you? Do you feel like you have finally been able to deconstruct what is no longer serving you? And if so, what are you choosing now to believe? What are you choosing to believe that is now going to serve you? So I'm, of course, going to be bringing you a few more episodes on this topic, a few more episodes on this series. It's a series that's really exciting me. I didn't know I had so many episodes within me about money, but I do, right? So stay tuned for part 3 and then part 4 as well. And yeah, you guys, don't forget to get on to the Rich Babe Academy waitlist, because the enrollment is opening up on August 31st, which is so soon. It's next week, you guys. So go to richbabeacademy.com or manifestationbabe.com/richbabeacademy to sign up right now so you don't miss that open cart date. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for sharing these episodes. Thank you so much for tagging me. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. I am so excited to bring you guys even more episodes to help you manifest your dream life. Love you guys. I will catch you in the next episode. Mwah. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration on Instagram by following @ManifestationBabe or visiting my website at manifestationbabe.com. I love and adore you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and manifest some magic.